Happy sunrise, everyone. This is Joseph here, head grower of Nama, and here we have our famous tomato tree, or what you can say, tomato orchard. This is going to be our beautiful cherry tomatoes, actually yellow pear tomatoes. Sorry, I was thinking about a different one. These are our yellow pear tomatoes, and these have been grown a first year crop right here in the ground in this native Arizona dirt without any additive fertilizers. We are biodynamic growers out here in the state of Arizona. We run a micro farm, and we are the biggest supplier of medicinal, indigenous, and culinary herbs right here in the state. Let's check it out. With this tomato patch, as we said, we are biodynamic growers. So what does that mean? As we are biodynamic growers, we plant all of our plants during the new moon, and we harvest our plants during the full moon. These beautiful babies were planted in the new moon of Leo. That means that we started our crops, our plant starts in the new moon of Aries, and then we brought them out here in Leo to put in the ground. So we have not added any bit of fertilizer from outside for this crop. We do a three-tiered crop system, and what does that look like? That looks like a undercrop, a mid-crop, and above crop. And as you can see, these beautiful tomatoes are indeed our above crop, as they grow extremely tall, well over 6 feet tall, and we've had to prune them down, not necessarily prune them down, but we've had to stretch them and push them back. And we actually have not really pruned these tomatoes at all either. So when people say you gotta prune your tomatoes, just mention this video to them. When we talk about our three-tier crop, there's a couple things that we can look at. So let's talk about our three-tier crop. We have what we call our root crop, which connects with the root systems, and these are going to be connected to the earth constellations when we plant them. Then we have our mid-crop, and these are best for our flowers. These are going to be connected to our air constellations. And then we have our above crop, and these are going to be either harvesting for the fruits or our leaves. And typically, since it's a tomato crop, that lets us know right off the bat that we are harvesting these with our fire constellations. And that's why we also worked with them in the fire constellations when we planted them. So these would get harvested under an Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius full moon. Quite beautiful. Now when we talk about our three crop system, our earth crops are going to be the plants that are able to produce the edible parts underground. So these are going to be our native Itoy onions that were grown to be able to have something connect to the roots a little bit down underwards and give that great connection in the rhizosphere. Now our mid-tiered crop are these going to be our coxcomb celosia flowers. Now we planted these to be able to tell it just exactly how the soil was adapting. So because our mid-tier crop will always flower before your above ground crop, the color, the shape, the width, and the strength of our mid-tier crop, being our coxcomb flowers, are going to let us know how well our plants are going to produce. So we did not add any fertilizer from the outside, and because of that, we plant our three crop system to allow us to know exactly what we expect to see when we get to our top story crop. So once our flowers started to bloom bright colors, that lets us know that we do not need to add as much fertilizer as other people would, or even any at all, that sometimes they would say, you gotta dump this with nitrogen, you gotta dump this with potassium or phosphorus, or all those things. We don't have to worry about any of that because we are following the moon and stars to let us know when to plant, when to harvest, and exactly what our plants are going to be dealing with and how they're going to react. So because of that, we allowed the plants to just do their natural thing. So for the first about month to 2 months that we did grow these things, the only things that we used around here was the neem for early pest spray and control. However, once we got the flowers to start to bloom for our coxcomb, and once they started to show us exactly how they were created and exactly what kind of shape and flower and structures they were going to get, that let us know that we were going to have a beautiful crop, and we can stick away from any of the needing to spray anything and just let the tomatoes just do what they do naturally. Let's look under here so we can exactly kind of see what we're talking about. We're talking about our flower system that we have going on under here. So we're just going to move some of this tomato bush out of the way. Excuse me, little tomato. And this right here is going to be our coxcomb. Now, these are beautiful flowers that you can use for cut flowers. They're really gorgeous. However, these are our perfect signs to understand just how well the soil is doing and if we need to add anything else to our plants before we started to plant. Now, because our celosias or coxcombs came out to these beautiful, gorgeous blooms, and they started to bloom when the plants were maybe about 3 to 4 feet high, that let us know right off the bat that we were fine. We did not have to add anything, at least for another 2 months, if we wanted to. Now, if you do pay attention, you do see a little extra kind of hill right here in our soil. Now, this is because we did make some compost on site, And all this is taking some of the brush and the extra droppings from some of the bushes and perennials we had, bringing them in a fire, lighting them in a blaze. You guys can check that out in some of our other videos and exactly how we made that. And reusing that, mixing it in with compost on site that we've made from kitchen scraps and a lot of the plant droppings and some of the random other things that we've had around just laying in the dirt, even some of the bird nests and things that we've had collected from on site, and using that to make a nice little mixture of soil. And we've just spreaded that, we top dressed that about maybe on the 3rd month. And we only did that one time, and since then we haven't added anything else to this crop. Now the itoy onions, unfortunately they're not looking the best, and the main reason is because they don't get so much sunlight because the sun is being blocked with these giant tomato plants and the shade structure from the outside. Now if there was more light, these itoy onions would be really exponential and bouncing back way better. So if we were to take another look and kind of look towards this side, we will see the itoy onions that do get a little bit more sun and just how great they do and how well they are able to manage themselves. Now coming back over here, again, we can see this how simple this style of gardening and farming is. Now this is indigenous style of farming and gardening because these are what we call extended waffle beds. Now I know that the shape is kind of diminished over time, but these originally were about maybe 2 inches down into the ground, and this berm that we have right here that goes all the way down was raised up. So waffle beds are pretty much what they say and what they sound like is going to be a waffle. Meaning that they have compressions or depressions, depressions into the ground, and a lot of times you would see them in square sections, and it'd be squares, 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 squares in the shape of a natural waffle. Now our waffle beds, we call them extended waffle beds, meaning that we just do the same thing in a long shape. Instead of multiple sections of squares, we do sections of rectangles. So we are still growing in ground and our native dirt and soil, and with low water and low maintenance, and working with the natural systems of the cycles of the earth, the moon, and the stars. Lastly, let's just go ahead and take a look at some of these beautiful tomatoes that we see being able to be produced like crazy. All in here, this has all been done with biodynamic farming, and again, like we said, no additive outside fertilizers is really needed when we're working with the moon and stars. We did a luscious, beautiful crop where we did huge amounts of tomato production all the way around, and we still have a huge amount of flowers still setting and blooming, as we can see here. It has not stopped. It's still in full production, and we have very low pest maintenance that we have to deal with. As you see, these beautiful tomatoes are looking quite fantastic, barely any bug bites, and even when we do have a few bugs and pests, that's okay. We just let them do what they do natural, because the tomatoes are able to fight back and have a natural setting with those plants and ecosystems within it, and create a beautiful biodiversity between the nature, the bugs, the pests, all the different things that comes around. And we are able to grow a huge crop with low maintenance, no fertilizers needed, no additives needed really, and still get a extreme humongous production on our crop. So if you'd like to learn more, go ahead and give us a follow. We also do live classes on TikTok. You can find us on Instagram at Nama Yoga Shop. You can find my personal TikTok, Planted Alchemist Fitness and Chi. And you can even go to our website to get some great information, tips, and even check us out on some of our merch. And that's going to be namayogashop.com. I hope you guys love it. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you'd like to know more about planting with the moon and stars, be sure to grab my book that comes out on January 1st called Planting with the Moon and Stars by Joseph L. Thank you. Aho.